Welcome or welcome back. My name is Hoto, and today I'm going to talk about the most pathetic cheaters on YouTube. Later this week, I will also be sure to publish another video that is called The Smartest Cheaters on YouTube. And it's one of my next bigger videos, so look forward to that if you like this video. Before I get into anything important, I do want to apologize for no videos for the last 3 days. Not that many people probably noticed it, but I've just been struggling with a bit of stuff in my personal life and felt a bit down. Anyhow, with that out of the way, let's get into it. So, first of all, let's use a metric to qualify what defines pathetic. In this list, I will try to find and talk about people with these certain specific traits. Number 1, toxicity. While virtually all of them are super toxic, so this really only plays in and factors in for one of them. Second, persistence. Persistence is a good trait in some scenarios, but in this, it's persistence of scams or whatever. And third, lack of shame. I think that's very self-explanatory. 4, the worst planning. 5, egotistical. But let's be honest, every person on this list is egotistical, so likely this isn't a factor at all. These are just going to be a few traits that we're going to measure some facts of it off of. So without further ado, let's start by discussing the most pathetic cheaters in the world. Number 5, it's Slicker. Scammed his audience out of $500,000. Slicker is a Twitch streamer and a YouTuber. Slicker was recently known for this event amid a lot of Twitch drama not even a month ago. And Slicker was someone with a hardcore gambling addiction. This caused him to spiral and went on to steal money from a multitude of people. Most of them were his fans that were helping him through what they thought was a hard time for him. Because oftentimes he would tell them like he needed money to go visit his dying mom or to purchase food, or that he needed to fix his butt because his had a crack in it. You know, shit like that. And I think that this is inherently bad because even though he did have a major gambling addiction, which is a valid thing, at the end of the day, he still took people's money and lied to them. And when Trainwrecks TV, being the friend he was, gave Slicker $100,000 to pay everybody he'd stolen money from, and not even asking for anything in return, he literally just gambled it all away. I think that this shows a level of lack of self-restraint, and it doesn't make things right, but it does show that it indeed is a large mental problem. But on the same note, his apology doesn't sound at all very remorseful. It sounds like he's trying to act it out as best as he can, and even then, he isn't paying the people back himself, which he very well could be. In fact, XQC and a few other streamers are doing it when it really should be his job. All of this combined has landed him a 5th place on this list. Number 4, Ice Poseidon. Ice Poseidon's scam his biggest scam was $500,000. However, in this video, I'm going to talk about why it could be $2.5 million. He is a man famous for all the wrong reasons. The once king of Twitch and YouTube, now a dirty cum stain on the trousers of both platforms. You may be wondering why Ice Poseidon and Slicker are ranked differently, because both of their amounts that they stole is the same. The $500,000 is the same across the board. However, this is actually by design because we're factoring in some methods about how they reacted to the situation and how they are as a person. This leaves some room for people to be worse and having stolen the same amount of money. Let's start with the method of scheming and stealing. What he did was he announced his own cryptocurrency, and basically, in a nutshell, it was a huge rug pull, and that's oversimplification. And Basically, he hypes up his own shitcoin and tells people it's going to be huge, it's going to blow up. But then once people buy it, he essentially just sells everything that he has, which is a super majority, figuratively pulling the rug out of the whole thing, i.e., a rug pull. Most people lose money and he gets rich alone. That's essentially what he did. But what makes it worse isn't just this one specific event for $500,000, though that's a hefty sum. According to some clips, he talks about a Ponzi scheme which he was running, where he talks about $2 million from investors that he was taking and would eventually pay them off. However, unfortunately, I could not find anything about it. But this, you will see, is a degree of shamelessness to it and a persistence, as you may have noticed, to a continued scamming and even operation of a Ponzi scheme. Number 3, Brian Kwong Lee, or Rice Gum, and Logan Paul, with the mysterybox.net. Obviously, this controversy does have 3 other participants as well, but for the sake of this video, we're only going to be talking about Rice Gum and Logan Paul. They scammed nearly $2 million from their largely child audience. Despite there being a lack of information, we can do some of our own inferring. So, given that there was 5 creators, each creator getting $100,000 to promote the product. So, there's a general rule of thumb in general business, and it's that you should aim to spend between 2 to 5% of your sales revenue on marketing. So say your revenue was $1 million, your advertising and marketing budget should be around $50,000 annually, based on the 5% sales revenue rule. This is a general rule in marketing. So let's just apply this with $500,000 to the amount of money potentially made by the site, based off of the amount of traffic that they would have gained. This would put it at exactly $10 million. And this is just the start of the whole iceberg. While this is a very rough estimate, it does entail how much they anticipated that they would make based on basic rules of economics. That being said, they would have had to at least have broken even, or even potentially gained more. And for the sake of the video, I definitely will lean more towards the $5 million for all the 5 creators. However, the best part, I believe, is how they reacted to it. So, Rice Gum and Logan are already known on the internet as some of the biggest douche-tubers ever. So, in douche-tuber style, they went on to make apologies. Both were abysmal, with Logan's just saying he's sorry and just garbage like that. And he didn't know what he was promoting, and there was no info that he got, and it wasn't his fault. Showing in itself that he likely kind of knew, because 100% he doesn't just accept blind sponsors. The big show of the night, though, was really Rice Gums. Here's a clip of Rice Gum apologizing by giving away some Amazon gift cards. You know, how thoughtful of him. No, if you don't know this common trick, all of the Amazon cards were already used to begin. Even then, he acts like it was nothing, and then acted like a brat when people confronted him and said that he should take more responsibility, because in a nutshell, what he said was that other people did it too, so there shouldn't be any problem with this, and nobody told him, he didn't know, and why is he the only one getting smoke for it? Well, basically it's textbook deflecting. And these combined factors have really landed Logan Paul and Brian Kwong Lee, or Rice Gum, at number 3. And I think rightfully so. Number 2. Kay Goldie. Kay Goldie stole $1.5 million from her fans through a basically, not a literal, but basically a RuneScape gold doubling scam. You know, the old scam where people would be like, I can double your money, kid, just give me the money and I'll double it. And the first time they give it to them, they really do double it. Then on the second time, they just take all your money. Kay Goldie is I guess, lesser known situation, and like obviously way lesser known than the mystery box or the other previous ones. Now, what we're going to really talk about is that Kay Goldie was obviously a lot more prevalent on Instagram, but for the sake of her 100,000 sub YouTube channel, she qualifies to be in this list, in my expert opinion. So let's talk about what kind of content she did. Her YouTube was just basic stuff, but once you got to her Instagram, you entered a whole nother world. And for the sake of like potentially getting recommended, I'm just gonna say that if she were around today, she would undoubtedly have an OnlyFans. That's all I'm gonna say. Anyways, now let's get into the details of the scam. She was honestly super scummy when she dealt with a lot of this stuff. She scammed a total of only 45 of her fans, but out of $1.5 million. That means on an average, she stole $33,333 from everyone. That's quite literally a down payment on a very nice house where I live. You could buy a very nice car with that amount of money. And not to victim blame, but it does sometimes make you wonder how they fell for the old double your gold scam. And I guess upon more research, a lot of them were under 18, and that was outlined by the authorities when she inevitably would go to jail. And this makes things a lot more easy to understand. But I don't think I need to explain why overall this is like super scummy. And she'd often do this, and what she would do is she would delete the messages, and she did this for an extended period of time and remained relatively uncaught. But things eventually caught up with her and she went to jail. The article that I read doesn't really specify how many years she went to jail for, but I can only hope it was like 5 to 10. And number one on this list is the top G himself, Andrew Tate, with $120 million estimated. So let me clarify how I came up with this number. If you take $50 a month required to join Hustlers University, then multiply that by 24. Say you stay for 2 years. I believe that's about how long it's been around. Then take the average number of members that I came to see in Hustlers University, which is an even plateau at about 100,000 members. Now let's just say Andrew Tate has operated this for 2 years at this amount of numbers, and it most certainly will be when he opens up Hustlers University 3.0, and taking some ups and downs into account, you could get a rough estimate of $100 million to $120 million, depending on the amount of members each month or whatnot. This is something I talked about in my previous Andrew Tate video. Check it out if you want to. It's called I Actually Don't Hate Andrew Tate. He took advantage of a lot of people by kind of manipulating a lot of men and teens in bad places in life to join something that would essentially become a community / echo chamber / hustler grind set, alpha male hangout garbage, stuff like that. Anyways, if this isn't pretty scummy, then I don't really know what is, because in my opinion, I think it's basically in trying to capitalize off of the bad mental state of a lot of people and the desperation for a community and validation, I suppose. And the worst part about it is he addresses all this as a good thing, as opposed to calling it what it really is, a scam. He basically says that this will help people get into the hustler grind set. And now some people have basically blamed the people that buy into it and saying they're stupid and whatnot. And I feel like this is definitely victim blaming at its finest. You can definitely say that they made a bad choice by buying that, but it's also not as advertised as well. It didn't solve all their life problems. So on the same note, it's kind of like you can't really just blame the people that bought it. In my opinion, the fact that he's blatantly doing this, then using his platform to promote it as a good thing, is was outrageous, and he still is streaming and stuff like that, and still very popular in clips, and he's streaming on like his own website or something, and it's definitely one of the more scummy things that has ever happened on YouTube. And in my opinion, the fact that he's blatantly doing this and then using his platform to promote it as a good thing is just outrageous to me. It is one of the most scummy things I could imagine, promoting something as help when it really just hurts them by stealing from them. Regardless of what you think about him or his ideas, I don't think this can be ignored. He's like a shitty-ass chiropractor trying to perform a ring dinger on you. It's just not gonna help. I think this easily places him at number 1, and to clarify, again, this is not because of his beliefs or his message at all. I just think that what he did there with the whole Hustlers University is a terrible scam, and it isn't getting the exposure that it should. This easily tops the list as the biggest scam on YouTube perpetrated by a single person or small group of persons. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed this top 5 video with some semi-deep analysis or explanation on what they did. Like I said at the beginning, hope you liked it. If you did, like the video and subscribe for more. This shows that you really like it, and it incentivizes me to make more content like this. There's a link to a Discord below if you want to join. Just me and a few of my mates. A really small community. Hope you join it. That's that. Hope you enjoyed everything. Remember that you matter, and I love you. Bye.